First of all, can you hear me like this? Let's try. Yeah. Let me know. Just give me a little if you can't. How are you? Oh, no worries. I talked to him earlier. He's so cute. I'm a kid person. First of all, thank you for coming in and sitting in my little class/lecture, because talking to an empty room would be super awkward. So the more people in here, the better, as far as I'm concerned. I will give plenty of time. My favorite part is the question and answer session at the end-ish. So I'll give plenty of time for that, and be thinking or writing your questions as they come to you. And I'm happy to address any concerns you have about your home, or questions if you've been trying to clear a space and need just one extra little piece of advice, or whatever the case may be. Okay, the very most important takeaway from this entire time we have together is to please start and recognize your home as a sentient being. It truly is its own energy, its own consciousness, if you will. So think of it as a being that's alive with you. Does that make sense? It's a little woo-woo, but I really do feel that's a very important thing. That being said, any energy that's brought in by people, emotions, objects, you name it, will in fact be stored in the home until it's released in some way. Okay, that's anything. The most common trap spots in homes that I go into are hallways, closets. 100% of the time, if I'm going to end up needing to close a portal, it's going to be in a closet. There's a reason why cute little children are scared of closets and under beds and all those sorts of things. They don't get natural light is really the big reason, if you ask me. So things are stagnant in there. And by the way, I just got this. They want me to say this for powers that be here. One of the ways that you can keep a closet more clear, it sounds dorky, but it really does work, is you can get them on Amazon. Think of, the 70s, a good old-fashioned disco ball. You can buy just the little guys and put that on a little string or, a fishing wire kind of thing, and let that stay in the closet. It'll actually keep it clear. That wasn't on my list, but they just say it. So there you have it. You can think of your home as a child that you need to take care of. If the home's energy isn't taken care of, it will absolutely throw fits. Some of you may be experiencing that already. It's sort of like, one of the analogies I give is, let's say we all have our ups and downs, right? Let's say you've been going through a particularly tough time, a particularly stressful time. You may notice that things in the house tend to break during that time, where it feels like everything's kind of piling on. It's because our own energy can get so dense and so heavy that we're emitting that into the house. The house's energy doesn't know what to do with it, and that's a really common time for a house to go into what I call a breaking cycle. Electronics tend to go first, but it can be just about anything. Some other symptoms that a space can have if it's holding negative energy. Sounds weird, but people in the house who normally get along can start having little arguments, little spats, sometimes big arguments. But even the people within the home can start having a little trouble getting along. Any forms of negative relationships can start having occurrences. People blaming, a lot of blame game type of energy is common if a house needs a clearing. House with clutter. My greatest piece of advice is, I know it can be hard. If you saw my garage, you'd understand. I'm not judging at all. But clutter holds a lot of dense energy. Almost every time I go into a home that I need to clear it because it's been having things break all the time, has way too much clutter around. And if you keep in mind that all that's holding energy, it's got to go somewhere. That's a real common occurrence. So anything, it is healthier for us visually to not see clutter, obviously, but it actually does affect the density of the house too. Plants dying is a symptom. Animals staring, either being more agitated than normal or staring off into space, like into one particular area. That can mean an actual haunting. Yes, that's what I deal with also, but it can mean even just energy pockets. Animals are so sensitive that unlike a lot of people, they can actually see the energy. So what they'll see, I'm speaking for them, but what they'll see is just kind of a darker, heavier density in a room that is actually energy that's trapped, and they'll see that. And that's one of the things. A lot of people assume that animals staring off somewhere, that they're actually staring at a ghost. That actually isn't always the case at all. Lots of times it's just a pocket of energy that they can see that we can't. Keep in mind too that a house holding negative energy can block the flow of abundance. That's a thing. Okay. As far as homes getting haunted or ending up in spaces that we don't want, I'd like to tell a couple quick stories of my sister's favorite game that I call How Can I Haunt the Cabin Again? And it goes a little something like this. My sister and I share a little baby cabin in Munns Park. We trade off weeks. And when we first got it, it was just full-scale haunted. I had to send a sweet man off to the light who was hanging on there. He was scared he was going to go to hell. It's actually a kind of common occurrence that I run into. And had some other things going on. So long story short, I cleared the whole place, right? It feels great. I get the vibration super high. It's amazing. And a few weeks later, I went back to the cabin because it sits, empty for a week at a time. And when I walked into the cabin, I heard, "Hello there," very friendly voice. And I said, "Hello, who are you?" And they didn't play ball nicely, actually. In the spirit world, you're supposed to identify yourself if asked, but nothing. I got crickets. And then I said, "Okay, where are you?" And he said, "Up here." And I look, and up on the shelf, my sister had just bought a little green antique metal box. And I've learned in my business that a friendly voice doesn't always mean it's a friendly thing. So I took it off the shelf, brought it straight outside, cleared it, even put a selenite stick in it, left it there overnight, and finally, everything calmed back down again. Clear the whole cabin just to be safe. A few weeks later, I'm sitting on the couch. In the cabin, I become sort of a Christmas elf. My favorite thing in the world is my Walmart onesie. That is the brightest green onesie with a big fur you've ever seen. It has pictures of Will Ferrell all over it, and it says, "OMG, Santa, I know him," from Elf. So I'm sitting on the couch, probably eating a caramel, in my little Elf onesie, and I hear, "What are you wearing?" And I was like, first of all, don't be judgy. Second of all, who are you? And I look, and my sister had just bought a little Victorian chair, and she put it in the corner of the cabin, and some little lady was like, "I came with the chair." I'm like, super, So my point is, though, that something can get off and get haunted that fast. So if you are in the habit of going to antique stores, anything like that, even if you leave it out in the sunlight for a good chunk of time, or go ahead and sage it, or if you have Palo Santo, or any of those things. Bars of selenite are amazing for that. You can take a bar of selenite and put it across it, or wand it, anything like that. And especially, my most common haunting is the good old antique mirror. Like, that's just plain wall. So, totally. So, same thing. You can leave it out in the sun. You can do selenite across it. Prayer, depending on your spirituality, pray over it, whatever feels right to you. But before you bring that puppy into the house, keep in mind that not only has it been in other homes, but many people have been looking into it. And we know this as women, often not saying the nicest things to ourselves when we're looking at mirrors. So they can end up holding some real heavy energy. to put it mildly, actually. So you do Goodwill purchases, yard sales, consignment furniture, estate sales, get things from auctions, clear that baby up before you bring it into the house is my very solid advice. I wouldn't have nearly as many bookings if it weren't for that. I'm just saying. Okay. On a personal note, some of the things that can add some dense energy into a house or reasons for clearings are obviously new ownership of a home. If you move into a new space, it's not necessarily always fun to be swimming around in other people's energies, you know, what could have been going on in the house. Somebody's gone through a breakup, it's a great time to clear the home. If you're in a funk of any kind, any form of illness in the home, even after people have gotten well, that illness energy can definitely stay in the house. White sage is a good one for that one. A lot of people think clearing a house with white sage is clearing negative energy. Doesn't hurt, but white sage is really kind of more in the antimicrobial family. It is more of a thing to do after people have been sick. Again, not any judgment whatsoever. I know you know me, but trust me on this. If you know my son, you know I'm really not judging. Any kind of alcohol use, any kind of drug use, and by alcohol, glass of wine at dinner, you're good. But really much beyond that, weed, any of it, what's happening is if people in the home are doing it, it's there's a reason alcohol is called spirits. Okay? You're literally creating a nice little punch in your auric field, which is a real easy gateway for things to come and go into the home. So, saying, putting it out there, that can be a thing. One of the homes I cleared, sweet lady who had a young lady who was staying with her who had a heroin problem. And this little room this poor girl was staying in had a nice mirror facing a closet, you know, heroin use. I had more than one portal in one room. If that tells you something of things coming and going. And this woman couldn't figure out why her house felt so crappy. That was, you know, one little person doing that. So that can definitely have an effect on things. Also keeping in mind right now that the veil, if you will, is particularly thin. So that can mean some amazing things for all of us in the spiritual world as far as coming to healing faster. You may have noticed when you have clearing, some disc clearing on you, things clear faster. You have enhanced psychic abilities, all those things, right? But that same punch in the same thinning of the veil can mean that things can come through a little bit, if not actually a lot, easier than they used to at other times. So just be diligent. Anyone negative spending time in your home, either a house guest or coming over and you're helping them with a problem, that sort of thing, that energy is going to end up stuck in there. An animal or loved one passing, obviously, that can be a thing in there. Unfinished projects, believe it or not, can actually create some kind of dense energy that you're not looking for. The symbolism of an unfinished project is chaos, is how it's read in an energetic field. So we all have those, right? But if you're not going to really put that baby to bed, it's great to send it on its way. Again, I mentioned clutter and dust, engaging in gossip, negative talk of any kind, that sort of thing, all creates that energy. And the ego's favorite game, guilt, shame, and regret, all lies. They're not supposed to actually even exist. So check yourself when you're feeling guilt, shame, or regret, and tell yourself the fundamental truth that every little one of us little humans does the very best we know how to do with what we've got under our belt in that particular moment, even if we wouldn't be making the same choices again. Let it go. Okay? It's all a matter of would you make the same choice again or not. And it's almost always a big fat no, right? Okay. Things to do in your home. I am a huge believer in selenite. I love that stuff. After I clear a home, I always put a selenite block. Doesn't even have to be large at all, in the four corners of the house. It's great in the four corners inside and great as a double shield on the four corners on the outside of the home also. It can be a tiny bit tricky if you have pets. It's best on the floor, but if it needs to be raised up on something, that's fine too. Rose quartz. If you're having any kind of sleep problems of any kind, nightmares, tend to do a lot of that little astral travel, any of that good stuff, or just having trouble sleeping, for a point on the four corners underneath your mattress or on the floor are wonderful. Rose quartz is the stone of love, right? But it's also, love is the opposite of hate. So energetically, it's a very protective stone. I always come in with rose quartz. Citrine for the kitchen, the heart of the home. Amethyst by a tub or a place that you like to relax, a great energy clearer. Smoky quartz, great for around Wi-Fi and EMF protector. Clear quartz, a fabulous healing stone that helps get rid of illness, also amplifies other crystals. Himalayan salt lamps, and they're cute. Selenite lamps are my favorite. Lighting, if you're wanting to clear some energy, again, based on your spirituality, use this any way you want. I'm a God and my angels person, so I'll light a white candle. The angelic realm loves white light and a white candle, so you can light a white candle. I ask God and my angels here for my highest good to please, raise the vibration of the room or clear me or whatever, and you can obviously put any of your spiritual belief system on that. You could light a white candle and say, "Dear universe, please bring in lots of good white healing light into my space right now." Whatever resonates with you, obviously. Little witchy broom by the front door is wonderful. Somebody comes into the house, you want to wait till they leave because that'd be rude. But after they go, you can take your little witchy broom and visualize with the intention out loud or in your head of sweeping, get it? Sweeping that energy out the front door. Transmuting it into love is even better. Help the planet out a little bit on that one. The old salt with lavender bags, you can do those in the four corners of any room that seems to be giving you a little trouble. Also salt at the front, on the front door is a nice, also little witchy tool. I'm trying to include both things because some are more witchy bound than others. Sound. After I clear a house and get any negative energy, I do a lot of bell work in the home all the way around it. So any kind of sound, bells, anything high vibrational. Classical music is an excellent tool. Any high vibrational music, you can play any of the megahertz music. They're all on YouTube these days, 432 or whatever resonates with you. You can play that through. Obviously opening windows, lots of natural sunlight. One of my favorite things is every home technically is supposed to have an altar. The beauty with an altar is you cannot do it wrong. Whatever, it's supposed to be near closest to the front door. I cheat and have mine in my bedroom because I consider it kind of personal. But whatever you put at that altar is the right choice if it brings you joy. It can be spiritual symbols, it can be crystals, it can be photographs, it can be, whatever makes you happy. And it can be a place if you're having a particularly hard day to go to and say a little prayer if that fits your belief system, or even just look upon it. But it's considered very high vibrational for a home to have its own altar. Plants are great over there. Cute little plant, little succulent, wherever floats your boat. Fountains. Fountains are phenomenal. I actually have one inside my house. I got this little number from Costco. It's very reasonable. It's less than $200, I think. That has little copper, can't imagine they are, bowls, and just makes, obviously you can't have some big blazing fountain in your house. That'd be a little weird. It just makes a soft sound. Even any of the little baby table fountains. It's all about what you like. But absolutely love that. Other thing, as far as keeping a home high vibrational, if you've had a particularly hard or stressful day, one of the great things you can do that someone taught me several years ago, again, put your belief system on this, filter it. But let's say I've had a tough day. One of the things that I was taught to do is to go to a neutral place before the home. If this fits your belief system, you can go to a little park, put your hand on a tree. I've gotten to the point that I could care less if anyone thinks it's weird to watch me do that. I'll put my hand on the tree and I'll ask God and my angels to clear any energy that isn't serving me, or you could ask Mother Earth. You could say, dear universe, please help me use this tree to ground me. But you can't actually ask the earth. Mother Earth is how I think about it, whatever works for you, to take back any of that energy that isn't serving you anymore. Anything that isn't serving. And then when you're going into your home, you've actually left the energy out into the universe, which can take care of that for you in a second. If anyone's looking for some personal meditation tapes, I started my journey with that with a lady called Belle Ruth Napperstack. She has everything from anti-anxiety. What I would do is I have a little CD player from Walmart, just a little guy, and I buy the little discs and play it before I go to bed at night. And sometimes I was taking sleeping medication at the time. I would take my sleeping medication, plug that in, and let my subconscious do the work when I didn't feel like actually really listening to it, and it still went in, and I still felt amazing. But she has anti-stress, I mean, you absolutely name it, health and wellness, connecting to your spirit guides, raising your intuition. She's got all sorts. I just threw her name out there because I love her stuff. Chakra clearing meditation. Jason Stevenson is on there. Free. He's a YouTube guy. But the bottom line really is that your house should be your sanctuary. It should be the place that you come to feel relaxed and peaceful and safe. It should feel like your home is giving you a nice warm hug. And hopefully the inhabitants in it help you feel that way. That's a whole other layer, right? But the being itself should feel that way. Lastly, I stole this from the internet because I was told to. I was hanging out and they told me to get on the internet and Google this, and I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. So this is not mine, but it really resonated with me, and I always like to end my little session with this because it really, I think, tells the story. This is about clutter. Everything carries an energetic tone. Everything carries some type of vibration. If you think about how many things you have in a room and all those things carry a tone, the question is, how loud is the choir? Right? So your energy is running in the background and it can hear these things, right? Not the way that we're hearing ourselves and each other right now, but your energy can actually hear things in tones. This I know to be true. So now what's happening is all that is running in the background, and how much noise is it? How much stuff do you have or not have where it's really peaceful, serene, and quiet? Set the intention for your home. That really buzzed with me because I thought about my garage and I was like, oh, that's one heck of a tone. My garage was going, good. Questions? Yes.
So if you're, and this is just, I'm very sensitive to like energy. I don't necessarily.
I feel that.
So I've noticed that there's certain places, like when I go into the office at work, or even just some places throughout certain houses that I've been to, I'll have like hard hearing almost in certain spaces, like almost like the idea of, oh wait, my ear has to pop so I can hear better. Kind of feeling. Does that mean something?
Well, it means you're super empathic, probably clear on you. It's my gut on it.
I was just like that must be a thing because it definitely has to do with like location.
without any, well, yeah, sure. It's you're actually impacting the tone of whatever place you're going into. So there you have it. What I would try to do is put up some really energetic blocks before you go into any space. Again, filter this for you. But what I do in the morning, I had a really high level psychic who I still work with who taught me to do this. You want to surround yourself with as much, really this could work for anybody, with as much white light as possible. So my spiritual belief system is asking God and my angels to come into my space and create the most powerful protective shields of white light imaginable. And then I say shields of protection that lasts my entire day. If you want to come to the booth, I can write it down for you. And what I do is, you know how little hamsters in a bubble, those little balls? I picture that I'm actually creating, like, not a bubbles per se, but shields that surround me like that. And I'll go around in a circle, and I'll actually make these noises too. I'll go all the way around. And then to the front, and then I'll come down and I'll go boom, boom, like this, same noise. And then I'll put my hands up. This is what she taught me to do. And I'll say very strongly, shields up. And then I'll vision all that going on. Because picture the spaces I walk into sometimes, right? So.
Because at first I thought it was me, and then I noticed it was like certain spaces, and it wasn't just like at work or at home or at a certain person's house. Like it literally is like space to space. I can feel the difference. I wondered if that was like a sign that it needed to be clear.
Oh, it absolutely could be. Or it's just not, your vibration might be a little too high for the environment.
Gotcha.
You're feeling that. That's my gut. Is that you're vibrating
it's
up
in
here, and the space is like down in here, so it's like.
My big issue is that it started. I got a beanbag chair gifted to me, and I put
Stories don't normally start with a beanbag chair.
And gifted to me from my Zen space.
Once upon a time,
right? My husband put it in space, and now all of a sudden, every once in a while, like anytime anybody comes to like talk to me, and I'm in my space, I notice I have to like talk loudly, and I don't realize I'm doing it until they're like, "Are you suddenly?" Or I'm sorry, I didn't even realize. And it's happened enough times now that I'm like, something wrong with this beanbag chair. I don't know what is going on. Like, could it be having gotten something added to the space change the environment enough to cause something like that?
oh yeah.
Because I guess that's what I'm saying is like, what is it that causes something like that? Like, how could
You're crazy intuitive. If your thought is that beanbag chair might be part of the problem, off it goes.
I couldn't come up with anything else. So yeah.
That's not stupid.
I wish I could like replace it. It's a very expensive beanbag chair. Otherwise, I would just be like, let's just get a new one.
Keep in mind too that one of the most common threads of a spiritual person is boundaries. So make sure that you're really holding your space and holding your boundaries with conversations that are draining you, that sort of thing. Like it's okay to be like, you know, whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
But those blocks up, I do think will help a lot.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course. Yes.
Question of what you just said, you talked about the boundaries. Does that mean the boundaries of spiritual person might have
A really common soul contract with empaths in particular is boundaries and learning to hold. That's why the reasons empaths often can have a little bit of a bumpy childhood, either with family, friends, you name it, people crossing their boundaries, is to start to learn how to hold the boundaries. And that's a big part of the little empaths process. Not all the time, but really frequently. When I'm going through and actually doing it, I do a lot of channeling in of what it needs before I get there, to be honest. I channel a lot in the morning, and when I'm driving there in my car, they'll tell me what they want me to focus on. To give you an example, one morning they said, I was telling someone at my booth earlier, they said wear boots, and I was like, since when do you care what I wear? But cool. And I was going to kind of ignore it, and then I heard wear boots 10 more times. I'm like, got it, wear my boots. And I get there, and it needed a land clearing. I was like, oh, duh, you know, that sort of thing. So every place is a little different. I've been channeling.
Personally, in my own space, like,
Well, sage, and the big key is anytime you're getting rid of negative energy, you want to be sure to put the positive back in. You're not just going for neutral, you're going for high vibe, right? So you can start with a run of sage and lavender. You're getting rid of negative and putting in some positive right away. Frankincense resin is one of the more heavy hitters. It's downright biblical. Dark energy doesn't like it. There can be a little pushback when you use it though, but so do a little prayer protection around yourself first. Florida water, great for mirrors. It's called Florida water. You can literally buy it on Amazon. I have a specific crystal that the angelic realm charged for me to clear and seal a mirror, but Florida water is great. The chimes, any kind of chimes or bells, but the kind I love the ones with the little skinny leather strap that, you know, all through the entire home, especially any dark corners. And keeping some well-charged crystals. Lots of natural sunlight, open that baby up. Like I said, classical music. And you can borrow some children and have them play in the house. That actually raises the vibration really high. Oh yeah. But we have so many what are called crystal babies that were born onto the planet that their vibration is so flippin' high. You get a couple of those little numbers playing around in the house and boom. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So I don't own my own house. I'm a explorer. So going into lots of spaces where many people know.
Yeah.
I've gotten in a habit when I'm in. You know, I go through the stage, the closets, the cupboards, pretty much the whole house. I have rooms above my front, my back door, or my garage door. That charge only like the up the door.
Okay.
And then I usually use like corporate shorts in one in each corner of the house. But I was just curious because you mentioned after clearing to kind of like then bring the energy up, and it appears I might not have been doing that. If there was anything else you might suggest, or maybe even different crystals in those corners, considering in the rental, I have like the property manager, they're going to have their maintenance people come over. You know, there's only so much I can do.
Right. Are you downstairs or upstairs?
I'm in an individual hall, so I do have a little bit of freedom in that part. So
It sounds like you're hitting it pretty well.
okay.
I would just add to it doing some bell work, doing some classical music. Like I said, a cute little fountain, and keeping it, you know, keeping the crystals charged either by sun, moonlight, selenite.
Yeah, I usually try to take them out and get like through my earpiece, like maybe once or twice through the year, charge the full moon cycle, put back in.
I would clear them a little more often than that, probably. Depending on what's going on with you too, right? You know,
Yeah, that's
I feel you. Sure. Yes.
My daughter has chronic illness, so as you mentioned, like sickness that can go away. But she has chronic illness, and then sometimes I allow her to have parties, and they're all I did this spiritually like in.
Okay.
And so, how do you keep the house clear with it always being replenished? Her mental state and her physical state are, and things that she watches, my vibrational in. And she's special needs.
Honestly, you're right. You're fighting a little bit of a battle there, but keeping her own room as high vibrational as possible could be helpful.
She is highly upset. I do everything. But I put some things in her room before I said, Mom,
Not being well, then there you go. Let it be your space.
but, is there something that can, how often do I need to be trying? Can you set an intention and set all,
Sure.
you know, and how do I think I'm no longer sensitive to those people in, like, oh, there's a lot of things here. Totally new.
So probably not.
Yeah.
Maybe not to do.
Well, no, I don't like you.
Yeah, we just gotta learn to go like this.
Yeah. So, do you have any suggestions to keep it sparking the light?
It's not gonna be the most fun suggestion, but I would continue to clear it on a pretty regular basis. Once a month. I would do your sage and add some lavender to it. You can do frankincense resin.
I'm not sure how to use things.
Frankincense resin, you can get at Mountain Rose Herbs, I believe it's called, right?
Correct.
Thank you. And it burns really hot, so you want to get the little witchy cauldron looking numbers. Cast iron, the real deal. And you don't need to burn a lot of it. And you can do, depending on your spiritual beliefs, really strong prayer protection or clearing, or incantation of clearing any negative energy. That frankincense resin is honestly a heavy hitter.
I didn't even know that she liked it that way. I didn't know that.
No worries. It comes in like little guys, about that size. And you just put a tiny bit of it in the bottom of your little cauldron. And it does take a little while to light it up. When I'm clearing a house, I have a torch lighter in my back pocket that I know I'm going to be taking out many times. And go around, the whole home with the windows open, obviously, and telling any negative or low vibrational energy to leave the space immediately. I like the word immediately.
I would just like that keep intention that, she happy, that,
That's certainly not going to hurt anything. But I wouldn't go into a haunted house thinking I can do that and anything's going to happen. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not being sassy, like for real. Like I would honestly kind of fall in love with frankincense resin and see if you can keep that real low energy push. Sure. And then I'll get
Yes. I have a question for her. How old is your daughter?
she's 24. She's in a wheelchair and she's
Okay. How often is she out of the room if you can go?
yeah, I'm trying to respect that. And maybe that's she doesn't want me pretty for her. She doesn't want me. She's like,
There's a way going around it. You can do a spiral topper. Wind chime. Wind chime.
Look at you. Good idea. Yeah.
Wind chimes have a sense. A wind chime made out of copper. And make it a project that the two of you are doing together. And you can add amethyst to it. Hair quartz, rose quartz, any blue at least. Obsidian. What kind of colors don't put the two you can do. Put it on the window. And have your little bell. Whichever kind of bell that she may like. Make it look like it's her project you're doing together. And I would get the water with put it in a bottle with a spritzer. And every now and then when you got a little spritz, you will not. You just hit the corners and you just do that.
Thank you. Recon clearing a little bit. Yes. Okay. No, it doesn't. I've cleared cars before.
I guess there's just like a negative energy. Yeah.
being a lot of emotion. Conversations that I kind of are quite trying to clear energy every time I focus on it.
Oh, the trigger.
Yeah, it's a trigger for me.
My first piece of advice is why, but if you want to keep it, you could also work with someone to help you clear the triggers. I have the name of a gal I go to for clearings every 2 months. I have a standing appointment because I obviously want to stay as high vibrational as possible walking into people's homes. But my gut response to you is it might be a better avenue to have somebody work with you to clear that imprint, clear those triggers. But yeah, then you can go about the normal process of clearing the car like you do your house. Obsidian, selenite, you can cleanse it off first with sage. Frankincense resin too strong for a car though. It seems pretty heavy. But keep in mind, any of this is all about the intention that you have put behind it. Everybody is really powerful, and the universe is here to honor your intention, to help make that reality, right? It's an elegantly serving universe. So if your intention is to truly clear that any negative energy, or I would also ask for any imprints or even small triggers, whatever your spiritual belief system is, you could ask God and your angels or whatever works for you to help you please clear the triggers surrounding that relationship that are, within you and within the car. I'm trying to remember what's on it. I have a little thing that I got from a shop called Spiritually Bold. There are different crystal shops that actually make little things that you can hang from your rearview mirror, and it's unobtrusive. It's small, and it has like little crystals that are crystals for travel. And I think it's got obsidian on there. I know it's got selenite. I feel like something blue's on there. It might be turquoise. I don't want to make it up. But Spiritually Bold, she's over in the Promenade, which is, Blue Tower Sphere. She's right next to Old Navy. I know she used to have those. It's right. Yeah, and if you want to stop by the booth, like I said, I think a personal clearing might do you wonders for that. And she's phenomenal. Most powerful spiritualist I've ever worked with. She's got a mothering energy that is taking, she does it all. It's all over. Any more questions of any kind?
I had a quick one. I'm still trying to understand this, and I'm sorry if I'm asking the same question, but what causes somebody to have that kind of a sensitivity, just being in like a space like it messing with like hearing?
Well, my gut reaction to that is you were born with it.
It's just something that's been most recently.
It's a gift.
Yeah. I guess I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah, it's just bubbling up to the surface now, and it's meant to get your attention.
That's what it is. Then it has to do with like something like the frequency and space.
Like, I don't want to. That's not my area. I don't want to tell you for sure. But again, I could give you that gal's number if you know for sure.
That would be great.
I don't want to step on. I don't want to pretend I know something I don't. But
I just knew it wasn't my hearing.
as someone who's empathic to the point that I can feel rooms, I can feel people, I can see energy. That's what it sounds like to me. It's just another modality of being empathic. But I can give you this guy's number. You can.
I have to. It didn't bother me as much as it does when people say something.
Well, but keep in mind that what the universe is going to do, I'm sure you've noticed this, is it's going to start with a little tap, and then a little scratch, and then a punch, and then a slap. Starts out little, bigger and bigger and bigger until it's like, okay, now we got your attention. So, and also keep in mind that pulling this experience into your vortex for a reason. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you.
It's definitely in spaces that I spend a lot of time in.
Do you like those spaces?
I want to like those spaces. I'm working on those spaces.
Yeah, I feel like there's a bit of,
Appreciate it.
I'm not being sassy, like for real. I feel like there's like
I'm still like learning the whole frequency thing. It's the how our body reacts to it that I'm trying to figure out, like, why? How do I change that? You know what I mean? Like, what's the
I would say desensitized. I don't know that you're meant to.
Is it if it's
I
feeling
think you're meant to feel into this. But you are. Look at this. You're sitting here asking questions.
definitely, because I got to the point where I pushed back. Somebody was like, I think you're maybe having ear issues. I'm like, no.
Don't go the empty route for this.
Well, I went just to say, I was like, look, I know it's not it, but I'm here just to, like, appease my family. I just want them to know I'm okay.
I've been there.
And they're like, there's nothing wrong with you here.
Go get checked out where you're seeing things. Yeah. Yes.
I'm wondering about media in the home, like TV or gaming.
Actually, that's a great point. The little boy who needed an exorcism from a video game.
That's what I feel like there's that into like the internet wires.
Images, sounds, you name it.
Thank you. I need to add that to my notes.
What we play on TV and in the home can absolutely affect this.
So is it simple as violence is great people that take
Think of it as anything low vibrational. My husband rolling his eyes. Yes.
Being human and not regularly happening, what can we do to help negate that?
Shut it off. I mean, you're not going to be playing violence on the TV in my home. Because I'm not trying to swim in there. Now, would my husband quietly watch it while I'm in the other room? Sure. That's what the parent is for. You know what I mean? I have enough fairy sprinkle, going through the house that I feel like they can neutralize a lot of that. Because he likes certain things that I don't, want to come near. And he likes the ghost hunter shows, which, believe it or not, I don't like. So it's so big face. Yeah, so it's scared the crap out of everybody.
You feel like shooting guns brings back the
what?
swearing and shooting guns. Shooting.
Oh, yeah. But you don't need to be worried about it. Feel like you have to control everything that's going into your house like that, going on in your house. You just keep clearing that baby out from time to time, and like I said, have a cute little fountain, have your crystals, have your little altar. You're like, I